Do you want to know how to sound like this? Or this? Then be sure to stick around till the end of the video because I'm about to show you how I got to achieve this sound without hurting myself. This is Knocked Loose, Suffocate. Let's check this out. Suffocate! So we're starting out with an interesting scream layer here on the first Suffocate. It's a false chord low with a fry mid on top. Not just regular fry mids though. This is Bryan Garris' signature vocal style, which is a scream in what I like to call the panic timbre. Basically, when you build up a scream, you ask yourself what kind of basic voice you want to feed under the distortion so that your scream sounds as you want it to sound. Usually it's some sort of yell, like this. Hey! Hey! Or like this. Hey! Hey! But with this sort of scream, you can't really do a regular yell. To get your scream to sounding this alarming, it really helps to try and cross a further distance than you're doing with a regular yell. For example, right now I'm talking to you as if you were close to me. And now I'm talking to you as if you were sitting 3 meters away from me. And now I'm yelling as if you were like 10 meters away from me. Hey! And the further you go, the earlier you end up in a panic timbre, like this. Hey! And that's kind of how he sounds, right? This basic vocal onset is super hard to learn in a healthy way, and I will touch upon the health risks of this technique later in the video. Suffocate! Like collapsing weight! Strangled by every mistake! The winds will hush your cries! In the snub of your restless face! Let's listen a bit further. So one thing that I find really interesting about these screams is how monotonous they sound, but they don't lack in intensity at all, right? And that's why it's exciting to listen to them. When I do my own screams, I always try to reach for some melodic delivery, but this doesn't work with these sort of vocals. It's really driving home a certain emotion that it's just one note, repeated, repeated, repeated. Like, take it now! Take it now! Everything that I am! It's so more desperate. Before we continue with the video, let's talk a little bit about today's sponsor, which is my own screaming school, Scream On. We are a forward-thinking school for metal vocals that helps screamers worldwide unlocking their full potential while always staying healthy. If you are ready to take your metal screams to the next level, feel free to reach out to us over at screamon.com or slide into our Insta DMs over at Scream On Screamin' School. Now back to the analysis. Why? Hopefully the light won't die again. Now back to the analysis. Okay. Right off the bat, Poppy shows us how much she controls her panic timbre. She doesn't only emulate Bryan Garrison's technique beautifully, but she relaxes her voice towards the end of her lines so that we get more of an intimate accentuation at the end. Eclipsing weight! Strangled by every mistake! Let's listen a bit more. Connection. Okay. In the next part, she really pulls through with her voice towards the end of the line so that the accents fall strong and not as weak as before. I think this beautifully shows how you can put accents not only with a more strong voice, but also by relaxing more into it. And the combination of both accentuation techniques makes for a great contrast. Let's continue. Burdened by our connection. I long for separation. In the waning glow, every breath tries hard to escape. The rain is over now. In this bridge, Poppy shows us a bit of her voice acting, which is really cool because it just shows you how much you can affect the human brain just by talking in a very specific manner. So this sort of voice really evokes an image inside of your head. It's kind of like that depressed emo girl speaking to you very numbly because she can't bear all these emotions inside, and you know that she's actually very angry, but she gives her best to stay calm. And I think that's very fitting for the song as well as the lyrics, because it's about a conflict, and sometimes conflicts do these things to you where you bottle up your emotions a lot. Good, okay. Let's talk a little bit about this final scream from Poppy here. Now, we already discussed panic timbre, but when you strain into panic timbre a bit more, it's very easy to break into your head voice, and this is just what happened here. And combined with the fry distortion that's layered on top, it makes for a really, really gruesome tone, like... And then she kind of moans her way out of the scream like, something like that. I won't take it till I find a fucking lot. I suffered because of you. I won't take it till I find a fucking lot. I suffered because of you. Okay. Beautiful song. So fucking intense. Holy shit. The first association in my head that I had when I listened to Bryan's vocals the first time was this stupid goat meme of a goat screaming like, woo! But obviously this is not the same thing. So I asked myself, what's the difference here? And the difference is that it's an unstable voice resonance, right? So I try to reach around that technique to find some spot where my voice would sit more stable. And it was essentially this thing. Okay, so it's the same intensity, the same intention behind the voice, but at the same time it's more controlled. And the reason that this worked so easily for me in particular was because I was already trained in pop-punk style. For those unfamiliar with pop-punk styles, it's essentially voice twang. Like this. When I start to talk like this, it's the same voice that you use for la da 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 da. Once you master these sorts of vocals, there's a cascade of vocal optimizations that you learn in order for your voice to be super high and loud and very relaxed at the same time. It's a very hard thing to do. Whoa! Hey! And then I go a bit further away. Hey! It's very, very similar. One thing that you might have picked up on is that this basic vocal approach is very thin sounding without distortion. That is very much correct, and it's one optimization aspect of the technique, because the less bass you have inside of your scream, the less you need to strain in order for your vocal onset to increase in pitch. If you are not used to sing in twang timbre or are just regularly untrained in high pitches, I would not recommend trying out this style, because it's borderline impossible to reach these sort of notes without straining your voice for it. Most people that are looking for shortcuts into the panic timbre are straining their voice to get the pitch done, like but it's super hard on the vocal folds. Don't do that. Try to always stay in control. And this is really harmful to your vocal folds. So when you want to exercise these sort of vocals without being properly trained in before, always be aware that you are putting your vocal folds at risk. And I think that concludes the video! Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and also follow me on my socials to get more short format content. Until next time.